Hi there, if you want to learn how to create sound effects, then you are in the right place. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create your own arrow shot sound effects from scratch. And I'll be showing you what I recorded and how I recorded everything and basically how I assembled everything inside of Reaper. So with that said, let's get into our project. All right, so here we are inside of Reaper, and as you can see here for my arrow shots, I kind of have 5 different categories of layers that I want to design, that I've used to design and record and to assemble everything together to come up with the final shot. And then it's just a matter of going through different variation, different takes, different recordings, offsetting them a little bit, as you can see here. So let's go through each of these layers. I'll show you how I created them, and then you can see how I kind of quickly assemble them together like this to create these really cool variations. All right, so the first layer that I have here is what I call the release layer. It sounds like this. Right, it's the sound of the arrow whooshing in the air as it's after it's been shot. And the way that I created that, if I show you here, is all inside of Faceplant. Now, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. I opted for using a sampler. So inside of here, what I did is I imported a sound. This is from my Magic Sound Effect Pack 2, and this is the Air Soundscapes Natural 003. Not that it really matters, but really you could also use wind recordings, air recordings. You could even also test out, with your voice, just blowing air through the microphone and stuff like that, and then import it into here. But yeah, let me show you quickly how I created this patch here. So a lot of this patch is made using this LFO down here. And what this LFO is doing here is, this is kind of the shape that I wanted for the pitch as it's kind of whizzing away. You want the pitch to go down a little bit, so that's what is happening here. So I assigned this to the pitch up here, right? So that's what it is doing here. And also I assigned it to the cue here for this filter. So if I play it, right? And the reason for that is because I wanted to have a really resonant sound after the arrow is shot, right? So I didn't really care that I had a long tail because I know that I can cut that out or fade it out if I don't need it or if it's too long afterwards or in post, right? So I'd rather have a longer tail rather than no tail because it's a lot harder to work that way. And the whole reason for this is to have a really nice long tail. So that's what I did here. That's why you have a really long resonant sound here. And then it kind of really slowly goes down over time. And like I said here, I'm applying it to the cutoff here as well as the pitch. Next here, this cue here is being applied to with this envelope. And this is the other, modulator that I have here is this envelope. And this is being, like I said, applied to the cue. It's also being applied to my 2 filters here, which I'll show in a second. And I think that's it. Yeah. Right. So once I have that, I have this first lane of effects, which basically are just filters, just to really control the sound. So you can see here, I have one high cut, one low cut, right? And I just really want to control the sound to make sure that it stays within a certain frequency range. I don't want the full frequency spectrum. I just want the mostly the high mids and the highs. So that's what I'm controlling here, and I'm adding, movement or control with them with the envelope here. That's all I was thinking about when I was doing this. It's just how can I control it so I don't have a huge frequency band that kind of just didn't make sense for what I was going for. Right after that, I had a bit of flanger. I don't even know if you can really hear it on here, but if I take it off, barely noticeable. And then a bit of transition shaping here, just to add a bit of punch, attack. Right, and that's basically the patch right there. Like I said, you could also use a noise generator up here if you want. The other thing that I'll show that I added is, I think it was this one here. And this is just a wavetable here, a sine wave. It's just a pure sine wave. You can see here I brought the pitch down quite a lot to -40, and I turned off the out. So you're not going to hear this. And what I'm using here is I'm assigning this to, I think it's the level. Yeah. So I'm assigning this to the volume of the first one here. And what this is going to do is amplitude modulation. So I'm basically changing the volume over time of the volume here with a sine wave. So if I play it now, right, and I'm controlling again here the pitch with the same envelope that I'm controlling the pitch for the first one. Right, so the idea behind this is that I have some sort of like spinning arrow or something like that, or the arrow is just going really by, getting shot really fast that it's like spinning or something. Right, and the pitch here just changes the speed of that spinning. That was the idea behind it, right? So that's the patch. Pretty simple. Once I had that, it's just a matter of swapping out different samples in here, and I can get different sounds. And that's exactly what I did. I exported a bunch of different sounds, and that's what I placed onto my session here, just to get a whole bunch of different sounds in here, so that it's not always the exact same one. All right, and lastly, what I did here is just a bit of OTT and some limiting, just to boost up the volume a little bit. Really, it's not doing much other than that. All right, let's go to our next sound here. This is an arrow impact sound. Right, this is our second layer. And the way that I created this is actually really, really simple. If I bring this all the way out here, all this is me using some sort of flexible object. Usually it was some sort of like a really long plastic straw or a silicone, really small silicone spatula, or even a ruler. And what I was doing is I was just flicking it on my desk, and it was just kind of vibrating back and forth until it naturally stopped. Honestly, I didn't do much processing in here other than like bringing up the volume and the gain. That's it. Like it's a very simple sound, and then I kind of just put it in here. So this one's probably one of the easiest layers. It's just a matter of recording these sounds and then put it into here, and that was it. All right, our next layer here is a swing layer. Sounds like this, and as you might be able to tell, this is just the sound of my voice. I'm just blowing air through the microphone to create a whoosh sound. Now, of course, you can be really creative here and design a whole bunch of different whooshes using different objects that you swing in front of the microphone. I can link a video in the cards if you want to see a whole video I made about like doing these kinds of sounds and getting a lot of different sounds and variations out of them. But yeah, this one, again, pretty simple. It's just a matter of recording some swing and whoosh sounds. Okay, next here, I have a hit, which these were mostly just metal objects. As you can see here, I probably was hitting like my microphone stand or something like that. And that's it. Nothing complex. And then finally here, I have a whiz by. Now this one was cool. I'll show you how I created that one. All right, the way I created this is I have what I call my sound design sampling files, which are long files that I just add a bunch of effects and then I just print out and then I export so that I can bring them in and use them to design stuff later. And what I did here is I had one of them was all metal recording. So if I have a listen to it here. Right, it's just a bunch of medical recordings that kind of just stacked on top of each other. I don't know if I added effects to this one. I might not have even added any effects. I just stacked them on top of each other until I had all of these metal sounds and textures, and then I just exported it as one file. Now I can use it to design. Once I had that, I put on Doppler Pro by Touchstorm and NVK Auto Doppler. So if I open that up, all right, and there's no like nothing special here. The only thing that I did here is I increased the speed to around 240 miles per hour, and the distance I made it really close to the listener so that the sound comes and goes really quickly. So now if I play it, that's how I got that sound. Now I have two layers going on here, so maybe I can mute one. What's great about this technique here is I can hold Alt and then just click and drag to get a different part of the sample. Right, and that sounds pretty cool. Now, another little trick you could use here is add a bit of volume automation here. So I'm bringing down the volume, and then you can see here my peak where the sound will get the loudest, closer to the listener, is right here. So I'm making the volume, make sure that it's up at the loudest point there as well. Now it should be a bit cleaner. Right, now I can just find different sections here that I might like. Can even add another little fade out here with my volume, so that's a bit cleaner. Right, and that's how I created these sounds. And I think I just added a few effects here, like again OTT and so a limiter here just to, again, boost up the frequencies, everything. Just to level out the sound, make it a bit louder. And that's how I created these whiz-by sounds, right? So now once I had all of these sounds here, it's just a matter of like exporting a whole bunch of them, designing a whole bunch of them, and then once I had them all in folders, I can just import them in here, use NVK Create, select the folders where I have each of these individual sounds, and then I can just create a whole bunch of variations really, really quickly. And that's exactly what I did here. And that's how I created these sounds here. All right, so I hope you found that useful and valuable in seeing how I created these arrow shot from scratch using recording stuff around my house and design materials inside of Faceplant. And if you want to see another video where I did a whole redesign with an arrow bow and arrow shot, I did one with the game Shadow of Mordor, so I'll have a link in the cards or on the screen here if you were interested in seeing that and doing a full walkthrough of that redesign. So I think that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching all the way through to the end. If you have any comments, questions, leave it down below in the comments area. I always read it, even though I might not always answer it. I do always read the comments. So anyways, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.